This is episode 58 of the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today.
And this is episode 26 of the Good Karma Success Coach Podcast. Welcome to our second joint show together.
Yes.
Since we survived the first one, we thought we'd do another one.
The hurricane has brought us together this week.
A lot of togetherness.
Lots of togetherness going on this week.
And we had something happen to Ryan in his business for the second time. And it's something that we decided to share with our audience, not from a level of, oh my gosh, we're so frustrated by this or anything like that, but just in terms of sharing things that happen that maybe happen to you or something relatable so you know you're not alone. And then also discussing mindset and energy around it. And maybe those learnings that we have and things we've worked on can be helpful to you as well.
Yeah, this goes out to the guys, too, that have small businesses, entrepreneurs that are starting businesses. And this is something I just want you to be aware of that can happen. So that's one thing I want to put out there. This can happen to anybody. So I want to share our learnings with you today, so that's where we're at with it right now.
And I know Ryan has a lot of YouTubers in his audience. He has couples and guys on fishing teams, Instagrammers, and like Ryan said, small businesses and entrepreneurs. So we really hope that this can help you guys. Ryan, do you want to maybe kick off what happened?
Yeah.
Was that like a year ago even?
Yeah, it was about a year ago. I had a client message me. I think it's been, it's about a year and a half.
We honestly kind of put the first situation of this happening out of our minds, which is part of energy and mindset. So let's just say it was a year ago.
Yeah. So it's been about a year ago. I get a text message with an image of a website from a client of mine, a really good client. And he sends me the message. It says, "Hey, is this guy affiliated with you?" And I was like, well, no, the only person that's affiliated with me is Melinda and my dogs and my boat. So I said that jokingly. So I pulled it up, and he says, you need to look. And there's a website, a guide in my marina, he took my business name and he plastered it all over his website pages for search engines. So, which I was like, whoa. So, what happened is that apparently on desktop computers that you can hide keywords, which I'm like completely clueless to because I'm like not a SEO by any means.
And we've actually found out that it's actually technically illegal in Google's eyes to do this. So that's just kind of FYI too.
Right. And Good Karma Sport Fishing is a trademark. We did have that trademarked. So, anyways,
and some variations.
And some variations trademarked. But that's another podcast for another time. But anyway, so he sends me the message, and I'm very confused because I couldn't see my name on the desktop, but I could see it on the iPhones and the iPad. So I reached out for technical help from someone. And apparently, the new phones can read through paint on websites that are hiding search engines, especially with the homemade websites that GoDaddy uses. Like if you're using a GoDaddy site, and there's reasons why it costs that much. So
and just too, I want to interject for someone who doesn't really know what we're talking about. Is let's say you have a website and your background is blue. The person then can use keywords and make the font of their keywords also blue. So they're technically like hiding keywords into the background of various pages of their website. So it's kind of like you're cheating, to be real honest.
Yeah, it's very unethical to do, especially in the business world. And when you do this kind of stuff that shows acts of desperation. So
we had, noticed this, obviously. And, Ryan and I spent some time talking about it because you could look at it in two different ways. Number one, you could look at it from a standpoint of frustration and, oh my gosh, this person's going to take away my business. They're going to steal my business. They're going to steal my customers, and it's going to do damage. And that's the whole mindset and energy thing, where it can really derail you and put you down this whole rabbit hole and waste lots of time and mental thoughts on all the bad things that this could do to you. And it's just really important to not have that happen and instead think about, you know what, honestly, it's not going to affect us. And we're not going to spend time and energy stewing about this or thinking about it or even really discussing it. And like I said, we're only sharing this because it happened again.
Yeah, you would think it happened again. It's just bizarre.
So we're like, you know what? This is good for other people to be aware of. Be aware of that it can happen to you in your business. And there's also probably other things that people have had happen to them on Facebook or Instagram or with YouTube. But so it's something to be aware of, and then also something to really think about in terms of not spending the time and energy in focusing on it.
Right. Yeah, it was I'm a very passionate guy, so I was a little taken back by it at first, but I took some breaths, and I'm not upset about this, but I am now very aware that this kind of stuff is happening. So, but that's where I'm at with it today. I'm not spending any more energy on it. I'm just moving on. I got other things to do. I'm getting ready to fish this weekend. So,
you know, it's interesting too. I was looking at some email blasts I got this morning from Forbes, and even I haven't even told you this yet, Ryan, but it's obviously happening out there on a wide scale of all these people being competitive and using content and trying to make money from other people's contents. But Ariana Grande, she just sued Forever 21 for $10 million for using like images of herself in their advertising campaigns.
oh, that's absolutely crazy.
And then you saw something this morning on Facebook.
So I follow Mike's weather page on Facebook. The guy is like, it's all about discussion. He's by far not a meteorologist, but he really does throw a lot of stuff out there for discussion, and people want that, including myself. I like information. I like to see the spaghetti models of the hurricane, and that kind of stuff, because any little sort of heads up will definitely help us in the islands. Now, on the mainland, it's a little different because you can get out. Down here in the island, there's a lot more planning that goes into getting out. So we need as much information as we can, because we actually went through Irma. So it was, so when that came through, when we started seeing this stuff, it was crazy. So anyways, Mike shared an image or a video from another guy, and he shared it around of what the island of the Bahamas, what the Abacos looked like. And the other guy got mad and said that Mike was profiting off of it. Well, Mike was just sharing it. He just hit the button, and I don't know what went on. But anyway, so there's a whole big scuttlebutt about it, and
on Facebook
on Mike's weather page now about copyright and whether Mike profited or not from the video. So I put a lot of stuff out there, guys. I do it because it makes me feel good. I want people to learn from it. And that's why I do this podcast. That's it. There's no other hidden meaning behind it. I do it because it makes me feel good. And if it helps somebody out, when I get those emails from people, it makes me feel good that I helped somebody.
So our intent with social media is really to help and share. And we gain so much from it on our end too. And we both love to learn and apply our learnings towards our businesses. And it's just sad that there's so much negative going on in social media with competition and people stealing ideas, copying, using other images without permission. And we're not saying that that's what happened with Mike. We truly don't know. But it's just interesting that all of this keeps coming up and surfacing. So just be careful if you're in this channel of marketing and distribution that you get the proper permission, say thank you, be grateful, and really try to, not not become one of those people that end up getting bad press and negative
Yeah, just be
comments
smart.
out there.
Yeah, just be smart about it. It's I think it's funny you can share. I mean, it's funny to share other people's like weird stuff that they do once in a while, and I do that once in a while, but mostly because I got followers that will appreciate that funniness. So I'm not doing it to try to gain followers. So the people that I appreciate following me are fishermen and clients that I've worked with over the years. You know, people want to know what I'm catching, so it gives them a heads up, and it also gives them the chance to know me a little bit before they book the charter. So,
and you know what's been fun too is we've recently had a lot of people on your charters that we both have met that already listen to our podcast.
yeah.
So that's been really cool too. So
Yeah, it's
thank
cool.
you to those
And,
people.
yeah, it's nice to see people. They book a trip, you know, they want to learn a little bit, but they're not really. I mean, they're not out there to fill the meat cooler. They're there for an education, which is great,
And have fun.
and have fun, and so I really appreciate that, guys.
So I want to also say that if you find yourself in this bad place of worrying about the competition, of something happened to you and you can't mentally escape it, you just keep going over and over and over in your brain. Just know you number one, you're not alone. That those things happen, and often when you don't talk about it and you just keep going it over and over in your brain, you drive yourself crazy. You can literally send yourself down this bad energy spiral, and it's not worth it. It's not worth having your brain power, your precious brain power that you need to be using for other positive things in your life. Be worrying about the negative person out there, that negative competitive person. Don't let them steal your energy. That is just not fair to you. So take deep breaths. I love taking deep breaths for everything. I took deep breaths before we started speaking on this podcast today. It's just so important to do that. And if you have to write, that's great. Write down, why is this person not serving you? Why are you not going to focus on them anymore? And, it could be that, they're really not going to damage your business. So in this example, if someone calls him thinking they're calling good karma, they're going to be like, who are you? And you're not Captain Ryan. You're not good karma. So, honestly, what does it serve that person by using our brand in their marketing? It doesn't serve it at all. So it's not even worth worrying about. So that's just an example. So if you take a pad of paper and a pen and really write down some ideas, and if you find your mind going to that place, take out that piece of paper and look at it again and read it and just work on changing your mind, because you can do it. You can change your mindset. And then also, talk to somebody. If you're married, talk to your spouse. If you have a friend or a fishing buddy, if you're one of Ryan's clients, talk to somebody about it. Just get it off your chest so you can move on. And if you need more tips, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I don't want this to be all about that because it's a shared podcast. So.
Yes, sure. I've had some crazy stuff happen to me in the industry since I started, and I get a lot of guys that ask me why don't I talk on the radio, and I get all sorts of questions. I'm going to bring up that story about that guy. Remember that?
Do what you want.
Oh, my gosh.
So
it was my father-in-law's birthday. He was down here, and it was really windy. So when it gets windy, really rough, I mean, I send if I got somebody that wants to go offshore, I don't take them. So I give them an option of going into the patch reefs to fish. And if they don't want it, then I refer them out to another charter. But I don't do that anymore because of this one incident that had happened to me. This was a years back, and we were getting ready to go out for dinner, and I had it on speakerphone because I was like rushing out the door, and I got a call from a guy, and I had sent this guy because I respected the guy. He was a good fisherman, but I didn't really know him personally. So I had a call for a guy to go dolphin fishing, and I told the guy it was 5 to 6 footers, and I wasn't going to be able to take him out. I gave him the option to go to the patch reefs. He didn't want to do that, so I just let him go out of the charter because I don't believe in baiting and switching people. So, anyways, the next day, I get a call from the guy that I had sent the charter to. And I thought he was just calling me to thank me. I picked up the phone, and the first thing he says, Ryan, don't you ever send me anybody again. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? So this guy never showed up, and he accused me of sending him fake charters. A fake charter? Why would I do something like that? That's crazy. I go, and then the guy continued to say that I hope you know that this is going to start a war between us. And I was like, a war? What the hell's a war? This is coming from a big charter boat guide at Whale Harbor. I'm not going to mention who he is. But anyway, so I said to the guy, did you run the guy's credit card? And I was like kind of shocked about the whole accuse me of a fake charter thing. But I said, just run the guy's card and take his money. I go, didn't you get his card? And he goes, well, no. And I said, well, I got the guy's number if you want to call him, but I'm sure you got his phone number. He said, no. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I go, please don't ever call me again, and we're done. So, but anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that occurs. Yeah, apparently this guy has been burned by other guys that call and fill his calendar with charters, and then they're fake, just to take the guy's bookings so he sits at the dock. That's the kind of stuff that goes on down here. So it's something that we don't really talk about. Okay, so the whole point of the story was to tell you guys that I moved on from it. I thought about it a little for it. I stewed on it for a little bit. And then I talked to Melinda about it.
To get it off his chest.
To get it off my chest. And honestly, I moved on. I was like,
But you're not alone. So if these things happen to you in your business, that's the point of us sharing the story, is that you're not alone. That all this shit happens to everybody. And it's stuff you have to deal with on a daily basis. If you own your own business, no matter what kind of business it is, it's just crap you have to deal with. And share it with somebody, write it down, meditate on it, take some deep breaths, and move forward. Because, like I said, you're not alone.
It's definitely going to help you guys. So it's definitely helped me. And I'm more laser focused on catching fish and keeping my clients happy, more so than I've ever been.
And that's so true. And that's something we talk about all the time is focus more on what you are working on. So you're focusing more on the tasks you have to do. In Ryan, it's him always studying and learning some new techniques, some new tips or tricks or tackle or, oh my God, all the stuff that he does.
We gotta have a garage sale again. Garage sale.
Stuff that he does. Or, it's me. I'm always studying, I'm learning, I'm practicing, I'm networking. I have no time for nonsense, and so does Ryan.
Yeah. I mean,
no time for nonsense.
For every minute that I was down this week, I the only time I really took a break was to message some guys and ask for some input. And I appreciate the guys that I messaged and got back to me on things. So thank you guys. And you guys know who you are.
Awesome. So I think we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, we're done. I got to get ready to do some stuff.
So have a great rest of your week. Ryan always releases his podcast on Wednesdays. So that is today, September 4th. And for me, I'll be releasing mine early. Normally, I kind of do it on the weekends, so I'll release mine as well. So we would love to hear any feedback from you. You can follow me, Melinda Van Fleet. I am on LinkedIn, and I also spend a lot of time on Instagram at thegoodkarmasuccesscoach.com is my website.
Yeah, make sure you guys give me a follow on Instagram at goodkarmasportfishing_FL_keys. Make sure you guys are checking out my fishing reports on my website. I'm doing those weekly now. I was doing them every 2 weeks, but now they're going to be weekly with details in there. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and no fancy music today. We're just going to wrap this up.
Yep, and please share our podcast with a friend. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yep, and just remember, guys, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.